Dealing with sore joints or dry skin? Try All Balm. Our CBD topicals are fast absorbing, non-greasy, and smell amazing. Now available at 2U Wines in South Euclid. Sip, shop, and feel better naturally.
So we have another great guest, and listen, we did not shortchange one whatsoever. We have one of the best. She is a clinical therapist. She is an entrepreneur. She is a speaker, a podcaster, and I mean the list goes on and on. We have Miss Kelvette Beacham. Did I get it right here?
Absolutely.
All right, that's all that matters.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and welcome to the Pull-Up Experience.
I'm very excited to be here today.
Yes, we are excited to have you, and we can't wait to hear more about your story.
Yes.
And again, just walk us through this journey, girl. We're excited.
Okay. Is there anywhere specific that you like to start?
He got it.
You got me.
Trust me.
You got me.
Yeah.
Let him have his time.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say. Okay, so we at the Pull-Up Experience like to talk about the journey, right? Because everyone sees now, but we want to talk about how we came to how you are today, right? So, if you represent the hood, what hood you represent in Cleveland?
I'm representing Twinsburg.
Okay. Shout out Twinsburg.
Okay, I did not see that coming.
Everybody like Bone Thugs Harmony. They can't.
Right.
But with a sprinkling of Euclid. That's what.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We got
With a sprinkling. There we go.
Well, that's cool too.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about growing up in Twinsburg, because
Absolutely.
Twinsburg is a little bit different. So
It is a lot of bit different.
When growing up in Twinsburg, do you see a lot of people like us? Let's say it like that.
We had a strong, firm 13%.
Okay.
I was hoping for a little bit of that. Yes.
Okay.
And of the 13%, we showed up. We were in all the clubs and the sports, so it didn't feel like there was a lack.
Okay.
But then I followed that up by my college experience, Miami University.
Okay.
13%, not as it's so big. Not as it's so didn't have that kind that same impact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I gotta ask.
yeah.
Growing up, because you're a clinical therapist. Were you the one that everyone said?
Well, I think that
growing up,
I had a tough time.
I had a tough
So
time.
I used to get a little bit picked up, a little bit. And what ends up happening is you find ways to cope. So I was real funny. I was real funny. And I'm just real funny in class. And so when I became a teacher, that was my beta. So I used humor kind of to mask and to navigate situations. So I wasn't probably the person that people were going to talk to, especially when I was in middle school and in high school. But when I went to college, I kind of was able to get away from that version of myself and really form my own identity. So once I got to college, I was able to. That became my role. That was when I kind of was. I could talk to her about something. Very non-judgmental. You could bring something to me that is off the beaten path, and I would be able to sit in that. So that was the beginning. That was kind of the beginning of where I eventually got to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I always want to shout out to, we have some phenomenal therapists on the show before, right?
Absolutely.
And each of them have their own story, and I always wonder, because I feel like you have to be graced for that position, because I couldn't do it. And I feel like God has to put it on you, not put it on you, but like you have to be placed inside of you. So I guess my question to you is, when did you figure out that this was something that you were called to do?
I was sitting in the classroom at PEP. I was a teacher, so I was in the classroom and I was sitting in the back. And shout out PEP. Oh my gosh, I love those people. Absolutely. And they work with troubled and troubling youth. And
I was like, Brittany was like, "What's PEP?"
No, it's in here in Cleveland. It's a great organization. And when I was there, I was sitting in the back of the classroom and I pulled out a sheet of paper. And there was a lot of, at the time I was like, this isn't it. It's close, but this isn't it. Helping people, that's in my spirit, but this isn't the exact thing I want to be doing. So I made a list of all the things that I had a passion about on my heart. And I took that list and I said, all right, let's start with this one. how do you feel about this? And so I did a couple different things until I got to where I am now. But I remember that experience. One of the things we did at PEP was we took the students around the city. Like, so we helped them to navigate the bus route, how to do laundry, how to, buy groceries. So it was like a lot of different skills that we were working on the students. And one particular day, and we were on the campus at Case. And as we walked through the campus, I said, if I can get in here as a RA or as like a resident assistant or something, I said I would go here.
I said I would go here.
So that was kind of how I made the decision. How I made the decision to kind of really finalize the plans, move forward with being in the helping profession. So my path to Case led me to the Mandel School, which focuses on Masters in Social Service Administration. And I think the program has actually changed now. It's something a little bit different. But I did that program, and the degree you get is a social work. Social work. Yeah. Oh, you're good. You're good. So yeah. So I ended up going to Case because I was there on a snowy day, and it ended up kind of all the stars kind of aligned.
Okay, like I said, I probably said it 18 minutes. I probably said it 18 minutes. Shout out to Gillian, because she said something that stuck to me this day. She said about the science and about the science knowing the known, but the art is the heart for it. How would you say your heart was for helping others? You got obviously the science part.
It's always been there. Since I was younger, I always wanted to be in helping professions. Like, I wanted to be a teacher. That was my first life. I was a teacher, and then social work, and I still have a desire to educate and teach and coach. So like I said, I got a lot of pokers in the fire, and those are the places where I choose to kind of tend. Yeah. So, but I also think there is something to having a growth mindset. So my thing is, I do believe that if you are not gifted being a therapist, there are things that you can do on your end if you want to be in this space.
Yeah.
So there is, if it's a fixed thought that you can't get better at being empathetic, listening, assisting a client with interventions, or if you don't feel that you're able to do those things, but hold on, let me run back. So I think that if you have a growth mindset, you're able to say, like, okay, I am able to help people, even though I don't have these skills naturally. So I think you can nurture those skills in yourself. I think you can grow those skills. But I think it takes work.
Yeah.
It's not like effortless. So there's gonna be some challenges, and I think you're going to need supports as you get there, but I don't think it's impossible if you are not naturally gifted. Therapy, then you can acquire it.
Kelvette has been the most fulfilling in your role as a clinical therapist, and what has been maybe some challenges that you've experienced, especially in your beginning stages of, okay, this is what I want to do, this is great, what was some fulfillment, but what was some also challenges?
I was in a school for a significant amount of time, and I was able to really form relationships with the students, the family, the community, and that ended up being one of the most fulfilling experiences I ever had in practice. And now I'm in my own practice. And now I'm in my own that time. The reason that was so fulfilling was because you work with one civ, you work with the family, you spend time with teaching and educating and pouring into and there's always something coming back for you. So I really learned to appreciate and using that therapeutic alliance to really get the students and the families moving the barometer, helping them to achieve what they want, get their goals, get their desired outcomes. Yeah. I guess one of the challenges I would say would be burnout is a real thing.
Mm.
And if you are not monitoring how much you're putting into all these people, you can kind of deplete yourself. And what ends up happening is you're not doing the highest quality of work that you can be doing. So sometimes, honestly, less is more. Being able to have less people that you're impacting, but you can impact them in a deeper way. Yeah. So I said the challenges that I've experienced have been related to me not being accountable to myself and overdoing it. So I would say that would be my biggest challenges.
Yeah. No, that's good, and that's real because a lot of people won't admit that, but yeah, burnout, no matter how much you love and have that passion for it, you can definitely deplete yourself, and sometimes it can be a challenge getting back to you. So
sure,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
No, and I mean, and I love how you said burnout because people don't understand that. Not saying the weight, but the thing that happens with and like I said, we talked quite a bit of those in the mental health field. The weight that you guys accumulate while hearing and dealing with people's issues. What are some of the ways that help you, not say avoid, but to manage burnout?
I'm sure a lot of the answers are around self-care, and I'm sure a lot of the answers are around kind of like what I was saying, have some insight into like how you're showing up in these spaces. But I think for me, I can really separate myself from the work. The work. It's not that I don't think about them, because I be thinking about them. Like, I don't think about you. I'm more like, hoping that you're having a great weekend, a great week. The ability to compartmentalize and separate what they're working on with us in the practice my own life. I mean, that's also going to be about transference, where I'm experiencing something as the client is experiencing it, and being aware of transference, so that you're not going home being like, I dealt with my client in this issue, and now I'm feeling this. That's not your stuff. Put that back. Put that back. And then I think the other big thing is going to be having people around you where you can process the information that you're getting. So I'm a big advocate of having supervision, and having a team that you talk to, having people that you can pour into, so you can work through the problems that you might be facing with a client. So I'm big on having people, and I'm big on compartmentalizing or putting that over there. That's not for me right now.
That's good. And for those that are not sure what practice is, there's between being on your own, another between being on your own, another between having a partner person, you have to work with you.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about this because a lot of people. I'm not sure I'm not sure.
Yeah. So when I was at the school, it was an awesome experience. Like I said, I was like there for them. You know, have you heard of nominative determination?
I have, but Brittany, she like, what did I have? But Brittany, she like,
oh yeah, I knew that she didn't know. Yeah, I did want her to know. I wanted her to know. So nominative determination is where your name is in the job you do, like not on purpose. So like, have you ever met somebody named Mr. Fisher who was a fisherman, or somebody like Stormy Weather is a news anchor? You know, like have you seen that? You know, you've seen that before. So
my last name Gates, and I'm a gatekeeper.
There it is. Boom. So my last name is Beacham, and I ended up at Beachbrook, so that's where I was at. So anyways, but that's all part of it. And then I also coach at Beachwood, so I'm always in the So anyways, all that to say, when I was at Beachwood, something that we were doing was we were really focusing on like helping the kids and the families, and I was like, I want to have a little bit more impact, And I'll be honest, I wanted a little bit more time back. Working for somebody else.
We said that one time. So I want to harp on that because a lot of people, they feel shame or they feel like they're being selfish when they say that, when that's perfectly fine. Say I want my time back.
Yes.
You pour out so much to others, it's okay to want that back.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that was the space that I was in. And I remember being in a staff meeting, And this guy was explaining that if you went to Mandel School, you have an MSW, and you're not in your own practice, what are you doing? And I was like, what am I doing? I kind of had to do some self-reflecting. And I was like, is this real? Is this possible? And my sister, she is my hype man, and she was like, you hype man.
So she was like, you
got this. So she was like, you got this. She was like, you got this. And I was like, this is outside my area of expertise. This is outside my area of expertise. She was like, no, it's not. You have transferable skills.
Come on now.
You can do this. You're not. This space is not. You're not. This space is not only exclusive to only. And as I was trying to get into private practice, I was noticing not you, but I was noticing some gatekeeping. But I was noticing so there's some efforts to kind of keep people out of that space. People out of that space. I don't know what it was. Even in grad school, the professors would be in private practice, and they would be like, "You don't want to be in private practice." You'd be like, "Why wouldn't I?" Like, "Why sounds ideal?" They really that sounds ideal. They really push. There is nothing wrong with agency work. There is it's where I cut my teeth. It's where I gained my clinical skills, and I stayed a real long time. I stayed a real long time. So it wasn't like I was like in and out. So it wasn't like I was like in and out. They have this. They have air of not wanting to teach and share about private practice. So
on purpose.
So
on purpose.
I think, but I don't know why. I don't know why because it's and it's still and our practice is insurance based and our practice is insurance pay as well. So it's not like if you it's not only cash pay. Like people come there and they use their insurance. You swipe your insurance card and you swipe your insurance card. And you can receive services. I started kind of imagining. I started kind of envisioning it.
I like that, by the way, don't man.
Thank you. Well, it started because it started because in my car and my car. Some things are like what do they call them? Some things are like what do they call them? I was at the Bracknell exit, so we're driving. And so we're driving. Bracknell exit. I was right. You was right there. Right. You was right there. Whatever his name is. I'm driving. I'm like, I was like. He was up there. He was looking at me, and I was thinking, I want to connect people. I want to connect people. I want to be a bridge for people, and I want to help them reconnect to their lives. Because sometimes you feel like you're not connected to what you want. What is that? Is it your desire you're not connected to? Is it your health? Is it your family? Is it your mental health? Like, is it what part of this is not connected? So I was like, I want to be part of the life bridge for people, and my hope is to grow the practice in ways where we have coaching and we have services available for people that are wanting to transition or wanting to bridge things and not just clinical.
Yeah.
So we're in a growing process right now, actually, but that was the longest way around how I got to private practice. But I the other thing that I did on my way to private practice is I listened to a lot of podcasts. I literally was over and over again. Like there was like a couple of them, and I was like, if I listen to this is going to give me some insight on how to set up this funnel, and I'm going to listen to this, and this is going to help me how to acquire clients. And I'm gonna listen to this, and this is gonna tell me how to charge what I'm worth. So I'm gonna keep listening to these different podcasts, and I'm gonna gain this knowledge, all the while. And then I ended up also using a coach. Like, so I joined like a cohort.
Come on now.
And they said like, all right, this is what you gotta do. You gotta, and they kind of helped us or supported us through that part of the transition. That part of the transition. And I was real scared. Because I was like, am I really going to do this? I was like, am I really going to do this? The safety of my amazing job with these people that are so cool. These kids, they let me have a hamster. They let me have in my classroom. Like I really loved that job. It was time. And I knew that I could have greater impact if I were to have a practice. Because now, one of the things I enjoy is I want therapists that have not had an opportunity to be in private practice. If you are interested, I want them to show up. Because I wanted to create a practice where therapists want to work, where it's a safe space. Where they're like, no, she ain't go. They're paying accordingly. They're taking care of us. They're offering us some things things that will keep us here. And no, it's not like I'm not here. But I'm not here. But you know,
I like that. I like that.
But we're definitely I'm really proud of the practitioners that have been brave enough to come and join me in this journey. And we have amazing therapists at the practice, and admin staff, and billing, and all the parts. All the parts. So now we're here. Now we're here. Now we're here.
So a couple questions with that.
Absolutely.
So a couple questions. You said something about, you said you were listening to podcasts. You said you had coaches. But this is where I want to actually, a lot of people suffer from analysis paralysis. They'll keep studying, they'll keep listening, they'll keep retain information, but they don't do anything about it, or they won't take action about it. Or they won't, you know when it's time to take action on the thing.
So it was a really short turnover period between when I decided to start the practice and when I actually launched it. I think that short period of time was like around 10 years.
I was gonna say.
It went on my head. I was like,
I sat on that for a long time. In my mind, private practice is these people.
That's fair.
Okay.
It's those are private practice people. Those are private practice people. You gotta look a little bit a certain way. And I am not that girl. I am not that girl. Right now, I'm not that girl. She's covered in mud because I'm a track coach, so I'm out in the mud. You know, I'm not that girl.
Yeah.
But I am that girl when it comes to that. When it comes to helping people.
Fun episode.
All right.
I'm that girl.
I like that.
I'm gonna help you. We're gonna solve this problem. We're gonna work through your anxiety. We're gonna eliminate your depression. We're gonna minimize your stress. We're doing that.
Yeah.
So that was my big thing. My big thing was I want to help people, and I don't care what this.
Come on now.
Because there's somebody who's looking for this.
Yeah.
And that was and the other people that I work with, and I was not gonna be like, do different so you can look like no.
Be you.
They need me. They needed me. They wanted me, and I wanted to be there for them. So, so that was how
Okay, that's good.
That's powerful right there.
Yeah. And you know, it's not easy when you finally do put the first foot forward and decide to step out on faith, is what I like to say, and do it. So what would you say in the beginning stages of having your private practice? So, okay, now it's real. What were some of the challenges that you experienced, or some hurdles that you had to overcome with doing so? Yeah.
I did it what I would call tidy.
Oh, okay.
So one of the things at my job was they said, you need to give us X amount of time before you leave.
Okay.
I said, okay, I'm not gonna bust out the door. And I actually gave even more time because I was like, it's about the kids, it's about the families, it's about, kind of, I wanna tie it up in a pretty bow for them because I really mess with them heavy. So I like them a lot. So I said, I don't need to hustle out of here. I know where I'm going. I know what I wanna do. So that was that first part. Okay. The second part was gonna be, how am I going to have any money when I get there? And we have a brick and mortar, so we're actually on this street.
Come on.
We're next to we're right there, just around the river. So just around the river. So I'm talking like I could throw a stone. I'm talking like I could throw a stone. So I definitely was like, how are we going to pay for this? How's this going to work? And I said, okay. I did math. I did math. That's real. I did math. If it costs this much to have the building open, I need to see this many clients. I need to see this. And for this first little bit of time, I just want to keep the building open. And then I said, if I see 8 people, then I can feed people some dinner. So I said, like that. I did the math. And I found a way to make sure at least the building was open. At least we had that. And that was probably for only a month. We were cooking.
That's good. And what do you think was? What do you think contributed to you being able to get that pace going and being able to build up that momentum? What do you think? Was it word of mouth? Was it marketing, social media now? What was it that helped get everything jumped?
The need. At the time, it was 2021.
Oh,
so it was right after. So it's actually still in the midst of a really challenging time for our country. I was putting myself out there, sprinkling on social media, but mostly a major place to see therapists in psychology today. So like that's like the hub. So like that's like, and I was there, and I was there, and they were finding the ad, and they were reaching out, and we were reaching out, and we were the other things that helped me to start the practice were my family. I could cry. And I'm not gonna. Okay, I could cry, and I'm not gonna. They showed up for me so big. My dad. If my people watch this, they'll find out. But he's the admin. He's the office. And he answers the phone. Yes, he answers the phone. He put all the information. He be in there typing. He don't know how to type. He be in there. He's helped. He is everything. He is everything. Can't nobody touch him. Okay, he's everything. And then my mom, she tidies, she helped, bring me, I'm hungry. She bring me some food, they're in my corner. Yeah. And then, absolutely. And you gotta support your family.
I mean, shout out to Michelle Louise. Come on now, Michelle Louise.
But it's all about family. So like that was huge. And then I think the other biggest thing I would say helped is I stayed my authentic self. Like I did not. I said, okay.
I keep hearing that.
I said I cannot change so many things in one foul swoop. I'm not gonna. And I said, and that's okay. Yeah. But what is here? What do I got that other people are seeking? I'm gonna be kind. Yeah. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna use those clinical skills and put them to good use. That's right. But I'm gonna do it in a Kelvette way.
Ooh. Okay.
I was about to say, with my dictionary, we're going to have to look.
The Kelvette way.
Yeah, look at it later, y'all.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what have you been enjoying so far with having your own, to have your own practice like that? Like you said, not everybody has done that, They probably
But they can.
Okay.
You can. If you are sitting out there right now and you're like, dang, I would love to have my own, or I would love to have my own. You can. You got this. You can. You seriously got this. I don't doubt for a second. You need things, but you can do it. You're watching. You can do it. And I don't see it as competition. I see it as community. So start yours. Do yours. Start yours. Come on. Bring it. Yeah. Come on. Bring it.
So speaking of which, so for someone that you just spoke to, or someone that you just, I need to hear that confirmation. I need to hear that confirmation. Start from step one. What was some of the simpler steps that you would say, you definitely need this and this. I'm sure you've learned along the way, like, I know this. We're still learning,
Absolutely. Still learning. And I think that is also one of my things that I like about myself. I'm okay with not being good at something until I am. Okay. So I'm like, I'm kind of
see? I'm kind of see? This is you're saying good stuff. You're saying good stuff.
I'm naturally a good leader. Not necessarily leader in the private practice. So I'm gaining skills. So I'm in classes, I'm in training, I'm gaining those skills, I'm getting better. Something that I know. I have a hole in my. I had a hole in one of my systems. And so when we were doing some of the hiring, there was a hole in the system. And what ended up happening is we were losing these amazing practitioners, and still losing these amazing practitioners. And then finally, I had to sit down and say, like, we got to seal this hole up. We have to repair this. We have to put a real system in place so that it's effective in helping to get more practitioners. Right. So the onboarding system is more smooth, it's more seamless, it's less work for the practitioner, it's a one time, you do it one time. So it's much more simple. So that was one of the things that we kind of fixed. Another thing was like just in general, the kind of the structure of it. How does this work? How do you do this? And Like I said, I had a lot of mentors along the way that gave me some of that information.
Good.
Yeah.
So like you said, wasn't everybody gatekeeping, so you were able to
It
learn.
wasn't.
And like you said, you're still learning and experiencing.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
I like the fact you're anti-gatekeeper. You like, I'm going to share the information willingly.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way. I want to say that I'm not that gatekeeper.
No, I know.
I open the gates up.
Yes. You're that kind of gatekeeper.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
the gate opener. Yes.
So it's my question for you, because and you kind of alluded to it, was that it's different when you are, because having on practice, I mean, you're a leader. You're in charge.
Yes.
And you can't wait, kind of alluded to, but I'm going to ask you what are some of the challenges that you as a leader are having, because one thing to be a practitioner, but another to lead other practitioners.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the challenges that you feel like you face leading the charge in that way?
I would say nurturing after I want to nurture more. I want to nurture my hires in a more rich and authentic way. Where they know that they're appreciated and valued, and I'm supporting you. I got your back. I got your back. And I value you. You being here is awesome. You being here is not on a monetary level. Not on a monetary level. Look at us helping all these people. Like we've helped hundreds of people in the city. Hundreds of people on our way to thousands. On our way to thousands. And my goal is to keep growing the practice, but in a very sustainable way. Like I don't need it real big, but I want it to be big. But I want it sizable enough that the impact you can feel it. Impact you can feel.
Tied up, so impact you feel. Tied up, so impact you feel. That's good. Tied up, I'm drunk. Yeah. I'm drunk. Yeah. Right, joking. That's good. So no, and I think that's something anyone who's leadership of any industry, should understand that you want to be able to nurture those who are under you. You want to be able to nurture those you, because the leader, quote unquote, right? The leader is about those who are under you. What are you doing to help them? So that's very powerful right there. So let me ask you this. With that being said, what are misconceptions people have about having your own practice? They think it's just money. And when you so some other misconceptions people have.
I think those things. I think those things with money. I think they're thinking like, oh, you balling here, and I'm not. But I mean, I'm not like.
You got one dribble.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah, I got the pull up experience. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. That's like but I mean, it's not like it's zero. It's not like
yeah, right. But they don't think understand overhead.
Yes.
Yeah, payroll.
Overhead.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have a billing. We have EHR. We have these things in place. I know.
You got
I knew. Electronic health record.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
But we have those things in place, and like that's part of the allure is that like we have pieces in place for you, and that costs money. We have a space that costs money, like those kind of things. But it's not to kind of lord over them. It's kind of like share. Yeah. I'm big. My friend said that once. I used to be a theater girly, and he said, "Is it to show off or is it to share?" And my whole thing.
So, I'm sorry. Thank you.
And it's to share. I want to share.
It's show off. It's to share.
Yeah. Ooh. I want to share these resources with everybody.
That's good.
Like I want them to feel like, oh, I got an idea for a group, and I want to do it at the practice, and I want to use this room, and I need another chair. So I'm gonna say, all right, I'm gonna get you a chair. So like I want to be used in that way to help people to grow us. Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's real good.
That is. So tell us, girl. So what sparked your interest in wanting to make it into a podcast? Because I gotta know about like the podcast and you.
In a cozy mood, shea butter and warm sugar is where it's at. Or maybe you're more in a champagne spritz and roses type mood. Whatever the mood, set it with one of these Febreze Air Mist fragrances today.
Mine.
Yours.
Yeah, yours. Yeah.
I was like, mine.
Okay. So So I love podcasting. When I was at the Miami University.
Come on now, hit it one time.
It's only right.
Miami was a university before Florida was a state. That's what we all.
I was about to say, because a lot of people like Miami University. Which one was down in Florida?
1809, doing our big one. No. But I was on Miami Student-Run Radio. I was a voice on the radio. Yeah, on the radio.
Okay.
And
Yep.
But I mean, that lasted like, I think I did it 2 years, and they tried to fire me because I was trying to be a shock jock. I was like, bring in the weirdo. I was just being.
You be Howard Stern for
really,
Howard Stern.
really inappropriate. Yeah, but in a fun way.
Yeah.
Inappropriate, but in a fun way.
Okay.
So on the radio station, I really had a desire to do radio.
Yeah.
I even went to I'm really passionate about radio broadcasting. So we started the Meanwhile podcast. Because that is about what's going on in Meanwhile. What's going on? My big thing is about. So I'll use myself as an example. I always wanted to, certain physique. I wanted to have a certain shape. I was like, I aspire to that. I aspire to that. So what's going on in your meanwhile? You're not going to stop living because you're not in the body that you want to be in. So live now. So this is all about this. So that's my whole branding. Is Meanwhile podcast. Meanwhile Kels. The meanwhile is what are you doing right now? What are you doing right while you're waiting to get there?
Nobody thinks about stuck in the middle, where it's just like how do I get to that goal? How do I get to that goal?
But the growth is in the middle.
It is.
The growth
It is. And a lot of times we find out that the joy is in the middle. And the growth is in the middle. And the learning. It's like this is where it's at. They get to the top, you're like,
They get to the top, you're like,
right. Yeah, right. Sweet.
Keep me in the middle. Keep me in the middle.
Keep you in a space of growth. Keep you in a place of growth. Use them all, just like that.
They're on the longest side of all time. No, but shut down. That's phenomenal. No, but shut down. That's very inspiring because, like I said, I think it's very inspiring in the day and age. Because, I believe you only on media, but there's not enough you get in the space. There's not enough you get. Everybody wants to do relationships. Everybody wants to do relationships.
And I only say that because, I
I
love relationship talk.
I
We
love
chop.
relationship
Let's
talk.
chop. But at the same time, I think there's, like you're saying, there's so many other little facets out there, and there's so many other interests, and there's so many other interests, and that's why this podcast is so cool.
And that's why this podcast.
This one here?
Oh my gosh! Bringing Cleveland people, entrepreneurs together to share their thing. How neat is that? So. Yeah, so I really appreciate the space. So
thank you.
Yeah, so all that to say, Meanwhile podcast. Yeah, the first couple episodes are a little bit reckless. We covered Insecure. That was our thing that we covered.
Yeah, that's my show.
But our covering of it was it's crunchy.
It's okay.
At one point, I think one of my co-hosts was asleep on the live, but you gotta go back and listen. Go dig out the archives.
Okay.
But so it's gonna have a rebranding, and I really want to start sharing more about my personal meanwhile, and bringing in other people to talk about their meanwhiles.
Okay.
One of the meanwhiles that I kind of talked about a little bit on my socials is my meanwhile weight loss journey. So I had gastric bypass, and I talk about that on the podcast. I talk about that in terms of how it can change your life and those kind of things. And that was my meanwhile. Yeah. So talking about those kind of topics in a very candid way.
That's right. And I've known that most people tend to gravitate towards the realness, the rawness, the authenticity, the authenticity that just really lets them know that it's not just them that are also struggling with that meanwhile as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure. So going back just a little bit, because I'm sure when you decide to do a podcast, it is one thing, just like your practice. It's one thing to say it and to put that foot forward. But what was some of the struggles with, just starting off with podcasting. Because, once you hit that play button, that record button, it is a little different. It comes with work too now.
Absolutely. And at the beginning,
and
that
at the
was
beginning,
the draw. It was, I
was
really
the
wanted
draw.
to be out there in that space. And if I could give myself a criticism or something that some feedback, if I was to give myself feedback, I would say you could have kept going. You could have kept going. I kind of stopped or paused or hiatus or whatever I want to call it. But I could have kept going.
I says everybody keep going.
Keep
Don't
going.
stop. Don't do that. Stop. But if you do that, stop. Don't but because you want to keep that repetition and you want to keep that motion because after a while it becomes muscle memory. And you do without.
And I think I was right there. I was right there on the precipice. I was like right there on the precipice. And then I was life got in the way, and I kind of fell off. And now, as we all know, restarting is a bear. It is really hard to get that motor going again.
You got it though.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that I'm watching and learning from y'all is team.
Oh, come on now.
Y'all
Gang.
Y'all showing off.
Gang over here, y'all. Gang over here, y'all.
You have somebody that's setting it up so that I knew where to be and da-da-da. And I had that little picture of me and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. I was like, they are, they're on top of it. They are. And I'm like, that was part of the draw. And I'm trying to get back in it. I'm trying. So I went to the course that you had.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for attending, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you,
I went to the 101 because I was like, like I said, I'm big on getting help. I'm big on saying I need a little support. I need some more knowledge. But this kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier. That knowledge gap where you know a lot and you're not using it. So they say for every 3 hours of knowledge that you accumulated, put out 1 hour of work. So that's kind of the anecdote. They say like, all right, so you know a lot. You did 3 hours worth of swiping or listening or reading.
Yeah.
Now do an hour of the work. Wow. Yeah.
No, it's so funny because my friend, shout out to Daz, man, because he make fun of me because I'll buy a course. I'll get the first chapter and I'll do the first chapter. I probably won't get back to the course because I'll run up the first thing and run with it or whatnot, right? Because I'm big on, I like to fail. Not a lot of people like to fail. I like to fail to learn.
Yep.
I have a hard head. Yeah. Anyone who knows me, I'm hard. Ain't that right, Michelle Louise? Yeah. And the reason why I'm hard because that's how I learn, unfortunately, or whatnot. But the truth is, I will fail, and I'll get better every time I fail. I get better every single time.
You do. And I'm currently in a coaching, and they say fail 50 times. Fail, and when you think about 50, that's a big number. Oh my God! But they say fail 50 times.
So
don't even try to get a win.
Yep.
You're trying to, because through those 50 fails, you're gonna get one.
You're gonna get it.
You're gonna get one.
That's all you need. That one. Yeah. And I think that a lot of times, whether it's podcast or whether it's whatever it is, you ain't usually that one time.
Yep.
And just keep failing. And I know some weird people like failing. No, fail. And there's nothing wrong with failing.
Yep.
You know where it gets bad? When you quit. Don't quit.
Yes.
When you stop.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Yep.
So let me ask you this, because we got the practice, we got the podcast.
Yes.
What can we expect next from you, madam?
All right. So I was ready for this.
You ready for this?
I was ready for this. I said I got the 3 P's tonight.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. I said I'm going to talk about my pivot, and we did. We talked about my journey to get here.
Yep.
So I'm going to talk about the private practice.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about press play on your life.
Pushing P's. Pushing P's.
So press play on my life is an online course. And it has a self-guided study. And then it has a component where you can join the coaching. I am so excited to launch this. I am so excited. And alignment. I think that all of this is going to line up like perfect. And I remember when I asked, I was like, how did I know that this was going to be here? And the launch was going to be right after.
That is good.
So I'm so excited. And Press Play on Your Life is a really unique perspective because it's a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of mindset work. It's a lot of mindset work. It's a lot of like self-study, like checking in on yourself, learning about yourself, all to get unstuck, and use play to achieve your goals. Using fun to achieve your goals. Gamifying your life. That's what we're doing.
That's dope.
That's what we're doing.
That's dope. So when can we expect that to drop?
It's May.
May.
I think it's gonna line up. I think we're gonna line up.
Let's go on. Listen, we'll talk about it then. So that's
May.
Awesome.
May.
Awesome.
2025. Yes, 2025. So the course will be focusing on people that want the next thing. You want to start your own podcast. You want to start your own practice. You're ready for the next big thing, but you're ready for the next big thing. But there's something that's keeping you from getting that. Let's go. I got you. Let's figure this out. Let's problem solve. Let's use strategy. Let's talk through it. Let's use it. And sometimes the reason that I think that this space is so exciting to me is because I get to use both my hats. I get to use my therapist hat, but not in a clinical way, because as we know, coaching and therapy are not the same.
Right.
But I get to wear my therapist hat, so sometimes I could see something and I'd be like, oh, maybe we can address this in this way, because I can see this as going to be a challenge or a barrier or that's that's your problem, like, and I could say that in a different way than I would be able to say it in a therapy session. I can't be like, that's your problem, but in that space I can. And then the other hat I get to wear is my coaching hat. Like I said, I've been at Beachwood. I've been coaching there since 2003. So I've been in that coaching space. And like I said, I'm big on transferable skills. So I definitely am excited to start in that space.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Before we transition over to our staple questions, I do want you to maybe clarify, to help Brandon out, because he may have got it confused.
She got me.
Yeah,
She got me.
Yeah. Because some people do tend to interchange the coaching and the therapy part,
Absolutely.
and they think that they're the same. Can you give us some key differences as to what makes a coach, what makes a therapist, so we don't keep having him confused?
I'm very confused.
Fair. The biggest difference is going to be in the processing of feelings. So a therapist is going to be able to process your feelings, kind of talk through that with you. Whereas in coaching, that's not really the objective. The objective is more goal-directed. We're trying to figure this out. We got to get from A to B. We're not really in a space to process feelings in coaching. But that doesn't mean you don't need both. So I'm a huge advocate of therapy. I get therapy, and as well as I provide therapy. But then I'm also in these coaching spaces. Like you do some of the coursework and the coaching. So I definitely think that there's some power in being able to have both hats.
Come on now, she's killing the game right now. She's in both hands. To me. I trying to hit that thin line. Like you're used to therapy. You're used to coach. Stay in lane. No, don't try to do one. No. I can help with that. But no, that's awesome. I love the fact you can when need be, you can interchange. And I think not too many people have that distinction, nor can have that honor of doing both. So making sure y'all both with her.
Absolutely. I'm excited. Yes.
So like Brittany said, we'll get to the because you being and you being understand this unique perspective, which is Cleveland has a reputation of not being a collaborative place, unfortunately.
Okay.
In your opinion, and then with you being a clinical therapist, is there a need to change the narrative of collaboration in Cleveland and in the therapist space?
Is there room for collaboration in those different spaces?
Do you feel like the narrative needs to change if it's not being collaborative?
I think that there is already people out there doing it. So if you want in, you got to find your tribe. You got to find these people. But I also would love if the people that are doing it, wave your flag a little louder, wave it a little, because I know there's Cleveland therapist collectives that are clicking up, they're meeting up, they're chatting, they're chopping.
Read that.
Oh, please! Oh, I would love it.
Okay.
You already have like, yeah.
Shaq, you got it.
But absolutely, the space where, but wave the flag big, because I think sometimes people that are perhaps maybe more introverted or maybe not as online, they don't get access to that. So it may be some old school ways that we spread the word. You know, I heard you say word of mouth earlier. Like, that's the most powerful tool when it comes to getting more clients, to getting, you know. I remember I was a theater girly, and I mean, my director used to say, your good word is our best advertisement.
Oh, wow.
He ate that. He did every night. Every night he would say that, and it's so good. It's yeah. So the more people can share about the product or what the groups, the collaborative groups, the better. And I also think it's going to be important to say those things are there. Go to them.
Come on now.
Try them out.
You're not an island.
Try them out.
You're not an island.
Please don't be an island.
Please don't be an island.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure to be.
So have a community. Have people around you.
Have a team. Have people around you.
I love how you said that. We're working on something, y'all. Y'all stay tuned. We're working on something, y'all. Y'all stay tuned. I'm working on that and creating directing because I want to say, because we have had some phenomenal black therapists and representation does
Sure does.
and you want to be able to sit in front of someone who's like you and be able to help speak to your plight or what you're going to do in life. You're here. And working on it.
Absolutely.
So that being said, collaboration.
Collaboration.
Would you like to collaborate in the future?
Would you like to collaborate in the
corporation?
future?
Or can we see some franchises? Like Bridges in Denver, like Puerto Rico.
Life Bridges. My sister is like
Life Bridges.
she's like California girly. She's like Life Bridge, California. I said she's like Life Bridge, perhaps.
Come on now.
That's not where my focus is.
That's not
Number
where my
one person I
focus
want to
is.
collaborate
Number
with.
one person I want to collaborate with.
Don't judge.
Collab. Don't judge.
Oh!
Hear me out. 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 Hear me out.
I was that one. Okay. I see my hood on. I see my hood on.
I want to be the baddie.
I want to show where I'm on the
show
show.
where I'm on
we
the
focus
ride.
on like
Where we
those
focus on like
kind of skills,
those kind
how
of
to
skills,
how to manage our emotions, how to regulate our feelings, how to
regulate our
talk
feelings,
talk
how
to
to
someone when we're
talk
upset.
to
Like
someone
I
when we're
want
upset.
skill based,
Okay.
but
Skill
I'll
based.
fight a little
Okay.
bit.
I'll fight a little bit. But I want us to be focusing
Zeus.
on this.
Oh my gosh, please! Oh my gosh,
Stop
please!
playing.
I know you're watching. Stop playing.
Don't let me. Listen, don't let me. Listen, okay? Don't play. You want to see this? This is what America wants. You want to see this?
Absolutely. Or now that's TV. I'll mess with either one of them. They both are awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I would say that's probably the first time I've ever
I ain't gonna lie, yeah. And you know what? I can't wait. We gonna look back at the episode. Remember we just and look,
Look
she
at
is.
Kelvette doing it.
Look.
She actually did.
Listen, okay.
I love those women. I love black women. I
Come
do.
on.
I cheer for them. Because sometimes you see those. They show you little glimpses of their soft parts, their hearts, their desire to be loved, their desire to be cared for, and their limitations in maybe not having that. So or maybe needing to find ways to give it to themselves in different ways. Or so I'm watching through a therapist lens, but I'm also watching as a fan. You know, those they turn up. So I think that I would love to work with women behaving badly. But
They need help. I don't know. I'm gonna say.
wait, is that the name of the show?
Okay. And what better person to help them than you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Because I don't judge.
Zeus.
She said that.
Stop playing.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, girl. We gonna see.
I can't wait to see that. I'll be Zeus. I'm like, oh, there we go. Okay.
It's the new episode.
Right.
We gotta stay tuned in. Well, listen, it has been such a treat to be able to just hear your journey, to hear your incredible story. of, like I said, how you persevere. And I'm sure when it comes to your legacy, it's going to be great.
Absolutely.
So I would like this to be a two-part question. Legacies for yourself as an individual. And then legacy for Life Bridge and all of your business endeavors as an entrepreneur.
For myself, I want to have helped people in a true, honest way. I want to have helped some people. And been a space of safety. I'm gonna choke myself up. But I want to help in that way. I want to help in that way. As far as the practice, I want her to be thicker. I want her to grow. I want her to be more expansive. And the good thing about the world world did tilt during the pandemic was there's so much virtual. So LifeBridge can help across the great state of Ohio
and beyond coaching. But for right now, we definitely keep spreading our wings in Ohio. I feel like there's enough people here that are looking for this kind of support. And I want to be that space for people. And eventually, I want LifeBridge to have some really fun components, like things related with the arts. I'm real big on theater, like I said. I've said it a couple times. So kind of integrating those two spaces, and really just continuing to help and serve in that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can see that. Definitely. Well, listen, I know that we've had such a good time with you. We've had some laughs. We've got some, like I said, more information. We now know the difference between coaching and clinical therapy.
Yep.
And again, for someone that's watching, someone that's listening, I know that you have inspired them in a great way as well. So as we come to, a closing end, what would you like for those 3 takeaways for someone viewing this episode to be able to take away?
3 takeaways related to kind of
it could be whatever maybe that you've mentioned that, hey, I really want you guys to kind of hone in on this, or whatever you meant to say, like, dang, I meant to say this. That's gonna help somebody. Whatever you feel.
I think the big 3 that I would want people to take away with is you can do this. You can do whatever it is you want. I'm gonna make this my second thing. I'm very big on infinite possibilities. I don't believe that there's A or B. I believe there's A, B, J, W, 3, pi. I don't think that there's just these are. It doesn't have to be so linear.
Right.
So I want people to think in an expansive way in their problem solving and figuring things out. So I think I want to encourage people to think about infinite possibilities versus I only have 2 choices. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You have infinite possible outcomes. I joke with my peeps, my clients, and I'm always like, you literally could stand up and spin in a circle. That could be a choice. That doesn't mean it's going to get you closer to your goal. That could be a goal. So we talk about there's infinite possibilities. I think the last thing I want to kind of encapsulate this is how important my family is to me. How important.
Come on now.
Absolutely. That's part of the Beacham legacy is amazing, and once again thanking my family for their support in my entrepreneurial journey because they weren't. Sometimes it's hard for your parents to see you in that way when they can't see themselves in that way. So being able to see me do this and support me has been unparalleled.
That's good.
Yeah, unparalleled. So that would be my big 3.
My big 3. Those are probably the best 3.
Right on.
So we're gonna do part 2 of the pull up. We're gonna do part 2 of the pull up. Come to the practice one time. And like Mr. Beacham party here. Where the Beacham
Pull up. No, you're invited. You're invited too. All y'all.
Okay, and this is the most important question. And this is the moment people are more willing to get the courses and all that. And watch them and listen to the podcast.
We just touched up the website and it's LifeBridgeTherapy.com. So we help, like we said, across the great state of Ohio, LifeBridge Therapy Ohio. And my socials are at Meanwhile Kells and LifeBridge Therapy. Are the other places that you can find us. So the big one's going to be at Meanwhile Kells if you're looking for the coaching. I have some spots available immediately. Okay. If you're very interested, like you're like, oh yeah, she about to help me. Yeah. You can definitely hop in my DMs right away, and we can make this happen.
So as you guys are watching this, and as the people are listening to it, either place right there in the show notes will be all the information so you guys can book this course, get coaching, and just get everything you need. Okay. Find out what the difference between coaching and therapy.
Absolutely.
I'm so playing. But no, thank you so much, madam, for coming on.
Yes,
and thank you for supporting us, because one night you were in that crowd. I appreciate you, madam. You know what I'm saying? And you pulled up on us.
Yes, she did, right.
And we appreciate it. We want to make sure we definitely support you going forward, man.
Absolutely.
So guys, listen, we got to pay some bills. We're going to do better this time around. Because April 12th to the 13th is Man Cave. Yes. Man Cave, yeah. I'm just playing. No, the phenomenal people at the Pink Black Honors. Shout out to Snore Edwards. Shout out to Demetrius Harvey for coming with this great concept that is empowering men. Too often, we believe men are just these beings that were ultimately just without need of help or of each other. But now we are understanding that we need each other. So we need each other. Phenomenal weekend we will have. Phenomenal weekend we will have. Pastor Judah Early. Waverly Willis. Who else you got going on? We got Jeff Brown. We got Jeff Brown from Confession. Jeff Brown. It's going to be a great weekend, guys. It's going to be a great weekend. If you have a young man, a cousin, nephew, any male that you can think of that need guidance or just empowerment. So we want you guys to pick your tickets. It will be at the Grand Resort in One Ohio. April 12th to 13th. April 12th to 13th. That'll be great.
All right. Good job. It's gonna be a grand time. So yes, and of course, guys, make sure you check out my podcast, Beauty Told. I'm gonna give you guys great advice, having great guest on, having great guest on, girl. And that way we can take that relationship topic and expound on it. And again, the overall goal is that a story needs to be told now. A story needs y'all to learn from our mistakes, and that way we know that the story that we told was a well-told one, was told. And I can't wait to see you guys there. You know, I love you guys so much. You know, I love you guys. Thank you so much. I can't thank her enough. Overflow Studios, Bree.
Mama Bree. Mama Bree.
She was the mama that stepped in. She was got things in line, got together. And you guys have got to see the transformation. I sometimes can't believe it. And again, meat and potatoes is still there. So make sure. Make sure we in. And I can't wait to see you there.
Guys, you know, here at the Post Spirit, we have, and while you're subscribing, one more podcast, Sensei, Alien Eyes Industry Talks. Yes. It's a good name because he is dropping them gems left and right. And not only if you're in photography, it's just knowledge you need to know about entrepreneurship. We have the honor of getting these gems on a daily basis, but he said I'm gonna grace the world with him, okay? And then I need you guys to subscribe today because my man is dropping them gems that you need to hear. Yes. And one thing in the Post Experience is that we want to push you to purpose, okay? And with that being said, do me a favor, subscribe today.
That's right.
Michelle Louise in the back, she right here, y'all. And y'all, I'm saying it now. On April 1st, I know it's April Fools or whatever, but don't worry. No, ain't no April Fools. I'm saying it first. And I got the name called Joe Jackson or whatnot, right? But it's because I push you to purpose. And I know Michelle Louise gonna have it's gonna be something. Virtual please. So I don't know. We'll work on it. What's gonna happen? My words. Okay. Scratch all that. But also, guys, I want you to do me a favor. Michelle Louise does a great job. I'll make sure that she takes this podcast from podcast to a business and she makes sure that the guests are here on time. Follow up. And I need you guys to do me a favor. Patronize her phenomenal business, MJM Virtual Services.
There you go.
I'm putting a G in there somewhere.
He do.
I got dyslexia, this calculator, okay? I got it all.
Here we
So please, guys, patronize our great business. And then also, guys, the number one host in the city, Miss Sand Walks. Guys, you have an event. You need a host. You need someone to just put some phenomenal work into your event. Miss Sand Walks, number one host in the city. So we need you guys to book her for your next event today. Also, guys, as you guys know, we are here at the Phenomenal 2U1s. Her grand opening is April 26th.
Yep.
Yes. Guys, we'll be getting lit.
Oh, you too?
I am.
Oh, we ready,
I'm
y'all.
turned up. You have not the honor of having 2U1s. I don't know what you do with your life because not only is it good, it gets you lit. And I joke around, but that's the truth. Okay? She's having a grand reopening. If you guys have seen the podcast, you've seen like, where are we at? Oh, we in 2U1s. And now open to the world on that day. So we want you guys to come for wine tasting, great music, great food.
Yeah.
And it's a great time. So April 26th, be here in the building, okay? We'll be here. I get them all.
I feel like we did. All right, we shout out Nikki, we shout out Bree.
Got checklist now. We have a checklist.
I know we got a team, okay? We don't want to leave
Right.
nobody hanging.
Absolutely.
So I think we got everybody.
Then we got everybody. Okay, good.
All right.
We didn't get you. Yes, you the person listening, you the person watching. Because we want to thank you guys for once again supporting this amazing podcast. Because as of right now, we're at 20,000 subscribers, 8.4 million views. And I'm not saying that to just be throwing numbers out there, but this is what we got. No, it's to show you that the amazingness that is happening here in the Cleveland area. Because it's not only just, how I said, it's now becoming a hub for great people like Kale's here, okay? CJ, I mean, the list goes on. 284 episodes.
Right.
We're not stopping. That's not because you would think, oh, y'all didn't hit the top of the mountain. We even close. So we booked them till when? September, people. And before I know it, it will be into January. And I said because once again, Cleveland is just coming in that city where talent is either being developed, they're coming here, all the above. And we can't thank you enough for just tuning in every week, sharing, like, subscribing, and just supporting us. So thank you guys again. Episode 284. See you guys next week. Peace.